Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com.
It's Ham Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 91, the Bouvet Island DXpedition with Ralph Fedor, K0IR, recorded live on Thursday, November 30th, 2017. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we had scheduled Ralph Fedor, K0IR, and hopefully we'll catch him. We're having some trouble finding him right now, so we may have to postpone this episode. So we'll give it a couple of minutes and see, but we're not able to find Ralph at the moment. So hopefully he'll show up. So we'll go ahead and talk a little bit and see if he does, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you some updates on the Bouvet Island DXpedition tonight. And if not, we'll reschedule it, and we'll come up with an update here before they take off. Well, last week we took the week off for Thanksgiving, but remember, if you ever miss a show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com, or you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeart Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and we're also over on YouTube. And whenever we have an interview, you can call us. Don't forget that phone number. It's 812-NET-HAM1, 812-638-4261, or you can Skype us at Ham Talk Live. And you can also tweet us. We're at Ham Talk Live as well. And we come to you every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com. And be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Well, the phone is ringing here, so let me get things rolling here, and we'll be back. And hopefully we found where Ralph is. So we'll be back after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you in part by Tower Electronics. Tower Electronics has been the Ham's dime store since 1978. When you need connectors, mobile and handheld antennas, cables, or adapters, visit Scott or Jill at a Hamfest near you. Or you can order online at pl-259.com or call 920-435-2973. Stock up on those supplies like PL259 and N connectors, SMA adapters, audio cables, soldering supplies, mobile antennas, and ham sticks. Their silver-plated N connectors are even used on the International Space Station. Tower Electronics carries MFJ, Comet, Daiwa, OPEC, Workman, and Ham Pro products. And don't miss their 0% off sale going on now. Tower Electronics, online at pl-259.com, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
Coming to you live from the glass enclosed Faraday box, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live. Join the conversation. Call us on voice with Skype at Ham Talk Live or give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Now, here's more Ham Talk Live.
Thanks to Scott and Jill at Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show to help bring you Ham Talk Live. They'll be at the Ocala, Florida Ham Fest on Friday and Saturday, and Plant City, Florida on December 8th and 9th. Or you can call 920-435-2973 or visit their website at pl-259.com and tell them you heard it on Ham Talk Live. So thanks to them, and they're going to get some well-deserved time off before too long. So thanks to them for sponsoring the show. Well, we're trading voicemails here with Ralph, and so we are going to go to Plan B here for just a moment, and hopefully we can bring him in on the phone line. But if not, like I said, we will reschedule. But let me pull up a tune from the Ham Band, and we will listen to that, and hopefully we'll be back with Ralph here. So here's the Ham Band. Here's 73's, one of my favorites right here on Ham Talk Live.
Well, you came right back to my CQ call. Your readability 5 and strength 9. You never once mentioned your weather at all, and I didn't mention mine. We talked and talked for hours and hours. I completely forgot you're a ham. I don't know your power or the height of your tower. Frankly, I don't give a damn. So 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down below. Your 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down below. It's hard to believe that you're anti-Fedor, 'cause you sound just like a local up here. But why don't those whistling Mediterraneans check if the frequency's clear? We're warm and cozy in our shacks, and we have talked about thousands of things. About shoes, about ships, about sealing wax, about cabbages and kings. So 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down below. Your 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down below.
All right, well, that's the Ham Band, and hey, we found Ralph, and he got delayed, and he's not able to get on Skype here, so we're going to get him in on the phone line, so bear with us here for just a moment, and we will get Ralph on here, and in fact, I believe we have him right now. Ralph?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. No audio check at all. We're ready to roll. Oh, well, thank you. We're just explaining to everybody that we were going to get you in on the phone line here. So this is
Okay.
Dr. Ralph Fedor, K0IR, and he lives near St. Cloud, Minnesota, and has been licensed since 1962, and his passions have been DXing, contesting, and especially DXpeditions. He's been on several trips, including Navassa, Amsterdam Island, Malpelo, Bhutan, Peters 1, and Saba Island, just to name a few. And he's currently organizing and fundraising the Bouvet Island DXpedition, along with Bob K0IR, and your other team leader was, I didn't write it down.
It's Erling in Norway, LA 6BM.
Yes, that's right. And He's a retired doctor and radiologist, and he's an extra-class operator, operated from 27 different countries, and a member of multiple radio societies, on the board of the International DX Association, and elected to the DX Hall of Fame. So thanks for joining us. Sorry we had to take you away there, but we finally got you in here.
Well, I'm sorry, Neil. I had a little computer glitch at the last minute here, and I couldn't get Skype to play nice with me. So we'll do it this way.
I have had many a night when Skype has not played well with me, so I totally get that. Well, you've been busy here. We've had a lot going on for this trip. We're getting close, so it's been a little over a year since we talked about this. So I'm sure there's been a lot happening between then and now, and been seeing some tweets from the team. So bring us up to date on what's been happening since we talked last.
Well, since we've talked, we've maintained a full team. We never blinked there. Some of the big events that have occurred, we had a team meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, in September. We packed our sea container, a 40-foot sea container, that subsequently went aboard a ship, made its way down to Panama, went overland and out through the canal to the west coast of Panama. And currently that sea container is in San Antonio, Chile, waiting to make its last leg down to Punta Arenas. Our team will be arriving in Punta Arenas, Chile, on January 10th or thereabouts. On the 13th, we will fly across the Drake Passage and meet our ship, and hopefully sail a little bit later on the 13th, begin our 2,700 nautical mile voyage to Bouvet. And of course, there's been all kinds of preparations punctuating this little scenario I've just outlined. I don't think a day goes by that I don't have a little fire to put out. And I spend usually multiple hours every day on this trip. I get up in the morning and never know what's going to be facing me here. There's something new to fix or a new fire to put out. But we have no major problems. We're on schedule, and no storm clouds on the horizon. But in these situations, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. But so far, so good, Neil.
Yeah, well, this afternoon and Thursday afternoon's always ham radio club at school, and we were talking about what we were going to do today, and we got to talking about you being on the show tonight, actually, and so we said, well, hey, let's pull out this video, and we pulled out the Peter 1 video, which is one of our favorites, and we got to see you on there as well as Bob and a lot of the crew, and we watched the video again and watched the little drama at the end where you didn't have everybody off the island yet. So, it's like that one. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, that's right. And there's always a factor X in these trips. There's always something unexpected that, you don't dream that it could happen, but it always does. And it may be something, very simple. We've rescued a Russian ship that was stalled near the not the Falkland Islands, South Georgia Island. We've helped seasick sailors. We've set some wildlife free that were trapped, and we've had some difficult things like the guy getting stranded on Peter the First. Always something pops up.
Yeah, hopefully this time it'll be an unusually good propagation time. That would be a nice surprise.
Well, that would be a real nice factor X to have. But,
yeah.
Something interesting about this, Bouvet, where we're going, and North America, during the time of year that we're going, share a common gray line. So North America is going to enjoy some enhanced propagation, and I think we'll do okay with North America. It'll be a little more difficult with Japan and Europe, but North America should do pretty well.
Well, that's good news for us anyway, but sounds like things are coming together, and you've got the big journey coming up here. So tell us a little bit about this FT8 thing, which has caught wildfire. You've got a way to figured out to do some FT8 from the expedition?
We do, and I'm brand new at this FT8 business, so I've been spending time in my shack getting on that mode and trying to become familiar with it. We're looking at it not as a primary mode, but something that we can use when conditions are very marginal. The bands have not quite opened up yet, and we're hoping that the increased capabilities of FT8 will allow us to make some QSOs during those times that we might not otherwise be able to make. If the bands are open and we can use the high rate mode, CW sideband, RTTY, we will do that. But if things are really marginal, we're going to try FT8 and see if that will get through.
Now, is there anything that people need to know? Because I know, and I haven't been on FT8 yet. I must be the one person who hasn't. But I know it's very structured as far as what data can go in and be transferred and everything. Is there something special that they're going to have to do to make sure that they get through to you?
We've got some instructions on our website. If you go to the propagation page, you'll find some instructions on FT8, news and updates. Having accurate timekeeping mechanisms in place is important because the sequences are 15 seconds long, and if you get a little bit out of sync, it's hard to get all the data through. It's not terribly difficult. There's a few little nuances, but it's not that difficult, really. The software is free. If you are on PSK or other digital modes, you can do FT8. It's not that difficult. Go to our website, check it out, and if you got a neighbor down the street who's doing it, lean on him a little bit. You'll be on the air shortly.
There we go. And that web address is www.bouvetdx.org. And that's BOUVET for Bouvet. BouvetDX.
Yeah, BouvetDX, all one word, .org.
Okay, so if you're one of those people that are going after the FT8, you may get a chance to try that out once in a while as the bands are starting to open up down there. So how's the fundraising going?
Well, I'm really happy with the support that we've received from the DX community. It's just been outstanding. We have a little ways to go yet, and our big bugaboo here is the helicopter. They are black holes as far as money goes. Now, we can get everything we need ashore so far with the money that we've got. Where we're getting into a little bit of trouble there is that we'd like to get a little bit more ashore, to have 2 antennas on every band, all the amplifiers, all the generators. And so we're a little bit short with getting all the things we'd like to get ashore because of the cost of the helicopters. We're going to do this thing, and we'll do okay. If we could raise a little bit more money to finance a few more helicopter flights, we'd do even better. So that's kind of where we are. I really can't say enough about the ham community. They've just been outstanding in supporting us. The Japanese DXers have been amazing with what they've done for us. So we're real happy about that. Little ways to go, done great, and, all in all, happy about it.
Okay, and I know, I was trying to remember, in fact, this afternoon, I was telling my students about all the helicopter trips you guys had to take back and forth over on Peter the First. So how many trips are you thinking it's going to take to get all that stuff over there?
I'm expecting we're going to need about probably about 60 to 70 hours of flying time for the helicopters. The number of flights is kind of dependent on wind. If you got a lot of wind, you can't have bulky cargo slug underneath the helicopter. You have to break it down a little differently. So number of flights is a little hard to indicate, but I'm thinking we're going to be in the 60, 70-hour flying time range.
So quite extensive to get from the boat over on the island. And so people can help out still and donate, and I'm presuming that's also on the BouvetDX.org website button
Sure.
there to donate, right?
Yeah, there's some donate buttons in a number of places. We didn't hide them, so you can find them quite easily.
And the budget on this one is that still in line with what you?
You know, it's in the range of $750,000, and that is an amazing figure. The cost all basically is transportation and helicopter flights. Our team members have tried to come up with about half of that, and then we're kind of depending on the ham community for the other half. And as I say, we've been very, very encouraged by what the hams around the world have done for us. Still got a little ways to go to finance all these flights, but we're getting there.
All right. Well, that sounds very interesting, and we hope to hear you from down there and talk to you while you're down there, and just really looking forward to adding that into the logbook. So if you want to give us a call, please do, or a tweet, or you can even get on the chat if you're on Spreaker in the comment section there. But the phone number is 812-638-4261, 812-NET-HAM1. If you have a question for Ralph, give us a call. And Jesse, AA4OM, says he hasn't used FT8 either, so I'm not the only one. So that's good to know. So,
well, I'll tell you, Neil, about 10 days ago, I have never used it either. But there's two things I decided I need to practice on. One was FT8, and the other one was 60 meters, because I had not been on 60 meters before. And since we're going to do both of those, I thought I had to polish my skill level a little bit there.
Yeah. I finally did get on the JT65 thing and tried that out, and then haven't done the FT8 thing. So maybe we'll figure that one out. Tell us a little bit more about how you're going to be interacting with people back here. You've got a head pilot who we talked to here not long ago about some other things, and webmaster and some things. So tell us about ways that people back here can kind of interact with you and find out where you're at and what's going on, and how propagation is going, and that kind of thing.
Okay. On the way, we hope to have a position spotting device on the ship, so you can kind of follow our little dot across the ocean from King George Island to Bouvet. When we're on the island, we're hoping to have some type of satellite internet set up, so that we can perhaps send some photos. I'm not sure if we'll have the bandwidth or the finances to send a lot of photos or videos or anything like that, but we will have some information stream coming from the island. Our pilots will be more of a source for your input rather than our output. So people will be contacting the pilots and reporting how they're hearing us, or how propagation is a little different than we predicted, and so forth, to help us out. We'll have emergency contact equipment available for family and so forth. It's isolated out there, so
yeah,
it's not real easy. But we will do it, and there will be daily information and frequent log updates coming off the island, which everybody is interested in.
Yeah, I believe the logo says the most remote location on the planet. Is that pretty accurate?
It is. It is accurate. The only more remote place on which man has set foot is the moon.
Wow. There you have it, folks. That's how rare this one is, and you'll have hopefully a chance to get them on the air. And you have, is it 10 days of operation? Is that right?
This is all weather dependent. We are going to have 21 days at the island. Now, it may take us a couple days to get on the island. We may have some weather, delays. We may have to hurry up and get off the island. But we've got 21 days at the island, and hopefully that will give us at least 2 weeks on the island, transmitting and, being active.
Okay, very good. Well, if you have a question, feel free to give us a call. It's 812-638-4261. 812-NET-HAM1 is the phone number. Or you can tweet us. In fact, let me run over there and see what we've got. Oh, we have something from Dr. Scott Wright, K0MD. He wants to know, what is the hardest task, the boat ride, the antenna assembly out in the cold weather, or the completion and realization you may never be back there again?
Well, thank you, Scott. I think I get the question a lot about what's the most difficult part of a DXpedition. And really, the hardest thing for me is not what comes before the DXpedition or doing the DXpedition itself. It's when I get home and somebody says, "Why do you do this?" Answering that question is very difficult. But on the island, I think our biggest challenge is going to be wind, low clouds, and fog, all of which affect us as human beings, trying to deal with this temperature and so forth, and our flying. The wind is going to be ever present, and it does wear on you for a bit, or for a time. There's lots of challenges, but I think our team is aware of them, and we're ready to meet them.
Yeah, and I know that was a lot of the problem that you had on Peter the First, and I'm presuming you're expecting this to be a very similar trip.
It will be quite similar. We're a little bit farther north, but the weather seems to probably be a little worse on Bouvet than on Peter the First. It's kind of in the wind belt.
Wow. After watching the video, I'm just like, okay, that's going to be worse. Well, and speaking of video, are you guys planning the usual video from Bouvet?
Yeah, there will be, I'm sure, a number of different media outlets for the public to enjoy. Video, there will be, lots of presentation at conventions, meetings, and so forth. We'll try to make ourselves available to the ham public to share the experience.
All right. Well, that's always fun to watch some of the video and see some of the wildlife and see some of the challenges that you guys undergo when you're on one of these trips. So we'll look forward to that. And Scott has another. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to say a new benchmark in the post DXpedition videos and information is everybody's bringing a drone to these DXpeditions now to get nice aerial shots. And we've talked about that, but we're a little bit afraid that if we launch a drone, it's going to end up in India or somewhere when the wind gets a hold of it.
Yeah, or at least the ocean. Yeah. Those are some cool videos with those, but that very well could happen. Well, you were talking about the antennas, and that's Dr. Scott Wright's second question here. how will you anchor the 160-meter vertical? And do you think DX Engineering will sell them to the ham community at some point?
I can't answer the second question. The first question, one of our problems is that we don't really know what kind of surface conditions we're going to encounter. The surface may be kind of normal glacier type material where you have a little bit of loose snow on top and then it gets progressively more dense as you go deeper. And that's probably the easiest surface situation to deal with. And we've got anchors specifically designed for that type of surface. Now, we may find that the surface is kind of slushy, kind of a snow cone consistency. That's a little bit more difficult to deal with, but we've got an anchoring system that will deal with that type of surface condition. Or we could have almost solid ice that you have a hard time putting a normal anchor into. But we do have a third anchoring system for that type of surface. So, like I say, we don't quite know what we're getting into, but we know the possibilities, and we've got an anchoring system to try and meet any one of them.
Now do you test this stuff out up in the Arctic somewhere, or how do you how do you know what these things are going to do?
Well, we've got some experience from Fedor 1, the anchoring stuff we went through there. The other is just do a lot of research. We've talked to some mountaineering teams. We've talked to a research team that was on on Bouvet, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I can't remember. Asked them what they encountered on the surface. We've looked at a lot of weather data, temperature, and so forth, trying to anticipate this. And as far as what to take, you just kind of use your noodle and technology and try to figure it out.
See, all I can think of is you get over there and you're like, oh, I need a USB cable. You get all this stuff over there, and then you're like, oh, I need a quarter inch to 3.5 millimeter adapter.
Yeah. There's no Radio Shack on Bouvet, or I guess anywhere else now either.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think there is one now, but yeah.
Okay. I want to be a little bit more specific about Scott's question about how are you going to anchor the 160-meter vertical. Very well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I saw, again, I was just watching that video this afternoon, and you guys were raising up a vertical and mast and some stuff, and I just saw it bend and bend and bend and bend, and so hopefully it will work as well as it ended up on that trip.
Yeah. Well, DX Engineering has put a lot of technology and research into the antennas they built for us. So I don't think we can take better material.
Good.
Mother Nature is tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's some interesting stuff. So we were talking about propagation a little bit. And I know, and I'm famous for saying, for weather forecasts, that any forecast over 48 hours is purely a guess. But what's the propagation forecast looking like? We're, less than 2 months out. So what are we looking at so far?
Well, our predictions are all based on NOAA's predictions for February of 2018. We've got this all laid out on our website. You can look at videos of propagation moving across the world on any band from 10 to 80 meters. And shortly on our website, we will have a widget where you can type in your call sign and your grid square and it will generate a personal propagation forecast for you band by band, hour by hour. All in all, again, North America is looking really pretty good. We may even have some 10-meter openings. It's not a given, but maybe. 12 meters, maybe a little better. I think 15 on down, we're going to do pretty well. And we've got some good common darkness all across North America, which is important.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Okay, Carl, KD9HQT, wants to know, have you seen any whales that landed on the shore on the island that caused problems?
Any whales?
Whales.
Like a fish?
Yes.
That would be kind of a beach phenomenon, and we will not be on the beach. The beach is very hazardous on Bouvet. It's not very deep. There's ice cliffs in the back, and the surf comes across the beach and bangs into the ice cliffs. So you don't really want to be there. That's why we're going up on the glacier with a helicopter. I am not aware of any whale incidents at Bouvet. I know there's been some whales grounding themselves in other parts of the world. Haven't heard about that at Bouvet. There are going to be some seals, elephant seals, and penguins on the beaches. But again, we won't be on the beach to interact with those critters.
Yeah, and I know back on Peter the First, the edges were just cliffs. I mean, there was no way in the world they'd ever get up there. So
it's going to be pretty
really
much that way
possible
on Bouvet also.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Well, it sounds like things are coming together, and it sounds like the website, Bouvet DX, again, BOUVET DX.org, has a lot of information up there, ways that you can donate, and as you said, the widget's coming, so you can get your own personalized propagation forecast there. That's always helpful to have, so be sure to check that out, and we'll look forward to getting some more information through the website and some of the tweets, and this is an exciting time. Now, is this the most expensive outing that's been done so far? Is that right? I know it's close.
Yes, I think it is. This is going to be a generational DXpedition. We looked at this. It's the number 2 most wanted entity. We thought if we were going to go there, we should do the best job that we possibly can, because there may not be another trip there for a long time. So we're going to try to make this as big and inclusive and as comprehensive as we can, so that everybody gets their shot, whether it's an all-time new one or a new band country. So we pulled out all the stops, making it expensive, making it long for us. It's going to be about a 7-week trip altogether. And we want to do it right. So unfortunately, right kind of equates to dollars in this situation, where you have to use helicopters to get to a good place where you have a good shot at all population areas. You're not behind a mountain or anything like that. So this is probably going to be the most costly DXpedition perhaps ever, and one of the biggest ever.
All right. Well, that's a very major undertaking, and so we appreciate you and your team taking that on. Do you have one more question here that we can get in from Troy Simpson, W9KVR, and he says Jerry, WB9Z, is kind of looking out for their school station, W9GRS, and said that Bryant, KG5HVO, is going to be a youth pilot. So will there be a focus on making sure some of those youth and school stations are in the log?
We certainly hope so. That's really important to us as a ham radio community, to try and involve young people and get some new people into the hobby. And Bryant is going to be our youth pilot. He's going to be working with the other pilots, and he'll have some specific duties to do. Hopefully, it will spark interest in other people his age and bring them into the hobby. But yes, we're very excited about Bryant, and Jerry and Val are just tremendous resources for the DXpedition, the hobby, the pilot system, and involving other people. So it's going to be good.
Excellent. Very, very good. And I know K9 SOU will be looking for you on there from school as well. So hopefully we'll make all of that work. Well, Ralph, we've got just a couple of minutes left, so I'm just going to open it up to you. If you have any last items you need to throw in here, or anything that you want to make sure people know about, go ahead. You've got just a couple of minutes.
Okay. Well, as I said, we're going to pull out all the stops on this one. I think if I had to say what is our best resource, or what is most likely going to make us successful in this DXpedition, it's the team. We have got an outstanding group of people, not just good operators, but good people, common sense. They watch each other's backs. They take care of each other, and they're all dependable, stable people who will not crumble under stress. So that is a tremendous resource, a tremendous advantage that we have. And I'm just really happy to be associated with this group of people. They'll do a good job from Bouvet. You can count on it.
Well, very good. And we did post a picture of the team members on our social media outlets and on the promotions for the show, so you can check that out if you would like to see the members of the team there. And we look forward to hearing from you from Bouvet here in just a couple of months. And thanks so much for taking the time out tonight to give us a call and let some people ask some questions about the big trip.
Well, my pleasure, Neil. And I hope we get a lot of calls of your listeners in our logbook. And we'll do everything we can to make that possible.
Very good. Well, we look forward to that. And Troy mentions that at Glen Raymond School, they're very excited about this DXpedition. That's a big hook for students getting into ham radio, and I couldn't agree more. So thank you so much for doing that, and for adding that youth incentive in there too.
Sure. If there's anything that we can do with the schools, clubs, youth, and so on, try to let us know. We'll go out of our way to try to make it happen for the young people, the schools, the clubs, and so forth that involve youth. Let us know.
All right. Very good. Well, Ralph, that's a wrap for this week's Ham Talk Live. Thanks again to Dr. Ralph Fedor, K0IR, and everyone out there in cyberspace for listening and for chiming in tonight. We appreciate you as well. And we'll be back next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Rob Suggs, KB5EZ, will be here to talk about an event coming up next year. It'll be all next year. It's called NASA on the Air. So be sure to tune in for that. They're going to be launching that in just a couple of weeks. So you can find out all the information about NASA on the air coming up next week on Ham Talk Live. For a list of all of our upcoming guests, visit hamtalklive.com. And for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.